Let's begin by telling you that the reinstated Emir of Kano, Lamido Sanusi Lamido, has gained access into the palace after a series of negotiations. Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf and the Emir were earlier denied access by forces alleged to be from the presidency. Meanwhile, the power tussle in Kano has taken a different dimension as Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf has ordered the arrest of the immediate past Emir of Kano, Aminu Bayero, over an alleged plot to create tension in the state. This was disclosed in a statement signed by Sanusi Baturi Dawakin Tofa, the spokesperson to Governor Yusuf, and shared in a tweet by the senior special assistant on digital media to the governor on Saturday, May 25. Now, the Asian city of Kano, northwest Nigeria, is currently tensed as rival supporters of the Emir of Kano, Lamido Sanusi, and his deposed predecessor, Aminu Bayero, throng the streets of Kano with dangerous weapons. This is coming hours after Governor Abba Yusuf led reinstated Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II into his official palace, and after the Nigerian police and other security agents in Kano declared the deposed Emir Aminu Bayero as still the legitimate Emir of Kano. And now to discuss this further, I'm being joined by News Central's correspondent, Emmanuel Bagudu, who has been monitoring this latest development from Kano. Emmanuel, thank you so much for joining us on the news.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
So first, I'd like to find out what's the atmosphere like in Kano State. We understand that there are supporters of Muhammadu Sanusi II, and of course others who are loyal to Aminu Bayero, of course wielding dangerous weapons and showing solidarity for those who they actually support. What's the situation like? I hope it's not beyond what the security personnel in the state can handle.
Yeah, the situation is very, very controllable. In fact, right now I'm just in the front of the government house where all heads of security agencies have converged to begin a meeting. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf just walked out of the meeting to join Muhammad Sanusi II in his palace. Now, the home in which the deposed Emir Aminu Bayero is residing right now is a home that is called the Nasarawa, and it's not far away from the Emir's palace where Muhammad Sanusi is residing. So he's there. I have visited the place. He came out and he met the press, and then he didn't talk. The deposed Emir didn't talk. He just came in and spent some few minutes and then went back into his inner chamber. And then he's been guided by soldiers, armed soldiers and police officers. The vigilantes are guiding him. Just a stone's throw from his house is the Emir's palace, where Muhammad Sanusi II is also residing, together with the governor and other government officials. Now, that place is also protected. Now, that makes it easier for you, it makes it clearly for you to see the supporters of Bayero and that of Sanusi. Both of them are carrying arms, both of them are just moving up and down with placards. A lot of videos we have been able to secure, we're going to share it very soon. A lot of them are just chanting. Those supporting Sanusi chanting, we want Sanusi, don't supporting Bayero, want Bayero. That is what is happening within that axis, located at Ibrahim Taiwo Road in Kano right now.
Well, it's a bit confusing why Bayero would have security personnel, most especially the soldiers guarding him now. But then it's understandable because of the points or the directive given by the state governor that he should be arrested. But then Bayero was not indicted and not guilty of any gross misconduct. So why is it that there's been an order for him to be arrested?
Well, the police, they joined a security press conference led by the police commissioner this morning. The press statement is there, and it's made it clear that they are obeying the court order and that Bayero remains the legitimate Emir of Kano. That is why the joint security press conference states this morning. And I think that's the reason why he's been protected. I had the privilege of seeing him. He came out from his inner room, and he greeted everyone, and he went back to his room. And he's currently still being protected by the security officials. The same thing goes to the reinstated Emir, Sanusi Muhammad Sanusi II. He's being protected. In fact, he's being protected by the governor. The governor is currently in the Emir's chamber as I speak to you. So probably the reason why Ado Bayero is being protected is probably because of the fact that there's a court order, and then there is a joint press statement by security agencies who actually say they are obeying court order, according to, as far as this emirate tussle is concerned.
Well, Emmanuel, this power tussle and squabble in the state is quite unprecedented. But I want to believe that you've had the opportunity to speak to loyalists of these two factions. What likely changes do you think the people in Kano State are looking forward to in the nearest future? What do you think their yearnings are? Do you think they would, in your interactions with them, is it that they still want Bayero to continue to be the Emir of Kano State, or they want the reinstated Sanusi II? Yes,
this question is actually talking about getting those who are doing neutrality, getting those who are neutral in all their responses. But all that we've seen today is those who are for or against the new emir and those who are for or against the old emir. The general atmosphere is everyone is supporting who they want to support. We have not had the privilege of seeing those who are neutral, those who are calling for general peace. We ask, yes, of course, there are other people that want peace, but we have not had the privilege of meeting anyone here that is in between. Is either this is where you are supporting Sanusi or you are supporting Aminu Bayero. So that is the situation right now, and there is an ongoing meeting right now of all heads of security agencies in the states, led by the commander officer in charge of the CO, that's the army commander in Kano, where they hope to get to up to midnight, according to them, because we waited for them for hours. The meeting doesn't seem going to come to an end at the moment. So probably by evening, we're going to give an update of the outcome of that meeting.
Okay. Emmanuel, before I let you go, now we see Governor Abba Yusuf saying that the reinstatement of Sanusi was in fulfillment of his campaign promise, and that the return of Sanusi will propel peace and prosperity. In that regards, what are your expectations? And two, the person who actually caused this entire problem, that is Ganduje, hasn't really said anything. Where is he rather? And what do you think his disposition will be to this upheaval?
Well, Ganduje is actually quiet because he doesn't want to get himself implicated in any saga should anything happen. Probably because we have tried to seek a lot of comments from his loyalists. None of them, if it's short, none of them, they don't want to talk at all. They just keep mute. We tried to approach some of their houses. Those that we know, they didn't want to make any comment, and that's quite surprising. So we just feel they just want to be neutral. They don't want to get themselves involved in anything, but we don't know the reason why they are not commenting. But right now, the issue of whether the reinstatement of Sanusi is a fulfillment of campaign promise, I think that is just for the governor to decide. Because what we're seeing here today is you cannot really say whether the majority of the people of Kano are interested in Sanusi or not, because all this is pending on what all the relevant security agencies decide later. But the issue of whether it's a campaign promise is that actually is taking the whole scenario to a political warfare. So, but we don't want to go into that, and we just sit down and keep our fingers crossed and listen to what the security agencies will let us know by the time they finish their meeting at the government house here by evening time. Thank you.
Okay, definitely. I tell you that we're actually anticipating what the fallout will be after the meeting. Emmanuel Bagudu, thank you so much for sharing these updates with us. Definitely, we'll keep tabs with you to get more details from you.
Thank you very much.
All right, we are going to definitely come back to stories in Nigeria, but we quickly want to dash down to the southern part of the African continent, and that's in South Africa, to tell you that South Africa's ruling African National Congress staged its last major stadium rally on Saturday ahead of next week's election, fighting to restore its glory and protect its unbeaten streak of post-apartheid victories. President Cyril Ramaphosa's party summoned the faithful and bossed in the undecided to fill more than two-thirds of the 90,000-seat FNB stadium between Johannesburg and Soweto, and gave his re-election bid some bars. Now, Wednesday's votes may mark the first time since South Africa became a democracy that late leader Nelson Mandela's party fails to seize an absolute majority. Up against 51 opposition outfits, Ramaphosa still expects to lead the biggest single bloc in the National Assembly. But if he fails or falls below 50%, he may struggle to build a coalition of members of parliament to re-elect him. Now, at this point, we have Bongani Siziba, of course, New Central correspondent in South Africa, who've been helping us to understand this better. Bongani, thank you so much for standing by.
Good evening, Lincoln, and good evening to our viewers.
Of course, it's a pleasure to hear from you. So tell us, give us an update of the election that just concluded, of course, the election of the ANC.
Let me start by just saying that the President Cyril Ramaphosa is not there where everyone is saying that ANC is not going to get the 2/3 majority. According to his speech, he told his supporters that they should go out and vote in their numbers, and he's expecting to retain more than 3/3 majority for the next 5 years. ANC is going to rule. That was the president's words talking to his supporters. But quite a hype afternoon here at the Orlando National Sports Stadium, where ANC supporters filled the 95-seater stadium here, where the president was addressing them. And among the key priorities that he mentioned, the implementation of the NHI health bill that he signed a few days ago. He also said that it will be implemented in stages. He also spoke about the shortcomings that the ANC have done over the 5 years. He also spoke about the corruption that is within the ANC and also the governing party, not shying away of their shortcomings, but also asking the supporters that they might do better come the next 5 years if they bring them back, or rather vote them back into power. He also spoke about ending the load shedding. We know South Africa has been battling with load shedding and also water shortages. So he also spoke about that, that if they return into power, the governing party is going to make sure that there is load shedding, the load shedding ends rather, and also the electricity, the citizens will also get the electricity. And also I was also speaking to some of his supporters, and what I've realized is that most of the supporters that are here are young, the youth. We know that the unemployment rate in South Africa is so high. So I've been asking them that 5 years to come, the unemployment rate in South Africa, are you going to vote ANC again? Most of them are saying they are going to vote ANC because it's better the devil that they know than those ones that they don't know. But just to speak to some of the ANC supporters that are here, let's just hear their views. Good afternoon, and anyone who would like to speak to me? Yes, you are a supporter and you are here. Are you going to vote ANC?
I'm going to vote ANC, and I love ANC very much.
Why do you love ANC? Speak up.
Because ANC is and siyabona emakhaya bogogo bethu bebanganathi indlu yokuhlala bakhela ama-RDP, bogogo bethu sebahola i-grant, bantwana bahola i-grant, bantwana bayafunza etikolweni nge-NFSAS asikhiphi lutho. So ngiyochubeka ngiyivotele i-ANC, and i-ANC isatowina and basazo.
Lincoln there, he was just saying that they will continue voting for ANC. Why they will vote for ANC is because of the grants that are being given, especially to the children and the older one and all those that are disabled. And also they are saying that no matter what, ANC is the party that they are going to vote for.
That's actually quite interesting. I got carried away with how excited the supporters of the ANC are right there. But then, Bongani, before I let you go, we understand that we have a situation on ground, and that is the opposition parties, most especially the one represented by the former president of South Africa, Jacob Zuma. Do you think that that particular party would form a formidable front, or would give ANC a run for its money in this coming election?
Not Not exactly as we have seen, like I've just indicated that this is just the part of Gauteng where we have seen, especially the youth. No one thought that the youth will still vote ANC. Everyone thinks that maybe the older generations are the ones for the ANC. But what we have just witnessed here is that the youth are also coming out and supporting the ANC. Talking of MK, we know that MK is dominant in KZN, but we have seen them around the country also being dominant. So yes, MK might give ANC run for their money, but there is also other parties that are there. We know that the EFF also is having their last rally in Polokwane. That is the hometown of EFF, and also Democratic Alliance, that is the main opposition here in South Africa, is also having their last rally tomorrow. So yes, all those political parties, and we also have independent political parties and other political parties that are also running for this election. So ANC will have they have worked so hard, but also their voters, their supporters have to come in and support them and vote for ANC so that they will have that 2/3 majority.
Bongani Ziziba, thank you so much for sharing this detail with us. Definitely we'll keep tabs with you to get more details from you later on, and I wish them well in South Africa. Thank you. With the administration of President Bola Tinubu marking 1 year in office, we will now take a look at its collaboration with the National Assembly and how it has impacted on governance. Our correspondent, Edong Joseph, brings us the reports.
On May the 29th, 2023, President Bola Tinubu took over as Nigeria's 16th president, with much expectations to herald a new era for the country. The new government promised to work with the parliament comprising the Senate and the House of Representatives to bring good governance to citizens. A few weeks after the commencement of the 10th National Assembly, a leadership tussle ensued as the parliament sought to elect its leadership and principal officers. With the ruling All Progressives Congress in the majority, there were disagreements over the nomination of candidates by the party in both the Senate and the House of Representatives.
This will be a guide to you, and I hope you continue from where I left.
The preferred candidates of the president emerged in both chambers.
In a few weeks, we shall be reading out the legislative agenda that will shape the 10th House of Representatives. We shall work closely and interdependently with the executive and judiciary to give Nigeria the good government they deserve.
Some supporters of the candidate said those elected as leaders will ensure a smooth relationship between the legislative and the executive arm of government. However, some critics think otherwise.
Every assembly have their style, depending on who is leading, But so far, so good. There seems to be tilted to the executive in this.
Another important event that played out in the course of the year was the nomination of cabinet members by the president, expected to be screened by the Senate. President Bola Tinubu nominated 45 ministerial nominees and forwarded the letter to the Senate for approval.
Congratulations on your nomination.
After several days of screening, 45 ministerial nominees were approved, with 3 candidates dropped.
Even if we are able to generate 13,000 megawatts today, our transmission infrastructure can only do 5,000, maybe 6,000 at best. So the second major constraint to electricity supply in Nigeria is the transmission infrastructure.
We have no choice but to give him that required support. And I can assure you, if I'm confirmed, in whatever capacity, Mr. President will not regret nominating me.
On the 29th of November 2023, President Bola Tinubu presented the 2024 budget to a joint session of the parliament for approval. After weeks of dialogue with ministries, departments and agencies, the National Assembly finally approved the budget, however increasing the initial estimate of 27.5 trillion naira to 28.7 trillion naira. With the budget passed and signed by the president, work by the new government was expected to begin. However, several weeks after, a drama ensued as one member of parliament accused his colleagues of padding the budgets, This sparked counter-reactions as some other members of parliament accused the lawmaker of mischief and bringing the image of the Senate into disrepute.
Please, can you allow me to, Mr. President, perusing through the budget. First, we discover bogus anomalies of repetition. We discovered some senatorial districts in this particular document. Some senatorial districts have up to 120 billion. I told Ningi in here that he made a mistake, that he should stand up and apologize to us first, then apologize that, look, this even figure that I'm looking for 3 trillion is here.
Abdullahi Ningi was finally suspended for 3 months by the Senate, a decision that did not go well for many Nigerians. This, however, brought the issue of budget padding to a rest within the National Assembly.
Despite the fact that you have multiple number of political parties, opposition political parties, all of them appears to be quiet by force because of fear of lack of not getting, benefits or fear of being sanctioned.
The parliament then went into a recess to engage with members of their constituencies.
It is our duty to justify the trust vested in us by diligently addressing the challenges facing our nation and striving for the betterment of society.
For the 3 years left for the current administration, the expectation of most Nigerians is that the parliament will live up to its responsibilities and ensure that Nigerians reap the dividends of democracy. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idonk Joseph.
Now, Nigerians no longer have to travel to the immigration office to obtain their passports, as home delivery of passports is set to begin in June. This development was announced by the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, on Friday when he inspected the electronic gates at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport's new terminal in Abuja. He said the delivery would not include every location to avoid overloading and damaging of the system. The minister said the Nigerian Immigration Service would start home delivery in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Kano, and Abuja. He added that for Nigerians in the diaspora, the home delivery service would initially launch in the United States and the United Kingdom with preliminary testing to ensure its effectiveness. Let's now tell you that the new Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament has pledged her commitment to achieving the goals and objectives of the regional lawmaker body. The new Speaker, the first female Speaker of the Parliament, was elected in Kano as members of Parliament converged on the Asian city for its second extraordinary session. Amadin Uyi reports.
The election of a new Speaker of Parliament brings an end to months of speculations following the inauguration of the 6th Parliament. As regional lawmakers converged on Kano, members of Parliament this time chose to elect the first female Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament. Some lawmakers say the choice is apt, especially considering her competence, and shows that the Parliament is moving in the right direction.
We expect her to actually be actuated by fairness and justice in the Parliament.
Now we have seen it shown in the ECOWAS Parliament. We have seen women in the Bureau, and there are other women in the Bureau. So we have women, we have already 30%.
We believe that she's a woman of capacity. She even demonstrated it today. And she has my full support, being a parliamentarian from Nigeria.
The new Speaker expressed her commitment to fulfilling the goals of the Parliament and called for the support of fellow lawmakers in order for the Parliament to meet the yearnings of the ECOWAS community.
I know I can count on your efforts, your contributions, your effective presence in our deliberations, and above all, your determination during this legislature. Your passion, your dedication, your commitment to the realization of the objectives of Parliament will enable us make ECOWAS an ECOWAS of peoples where peace, security, and prosperity for all reign.
With a new speaker elected, the parliament says it is now poised to tackle the challenges of the sub-region. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
Away from that, in an effort to accelerate the development of Nigeria's Northeast region, the House Committee on the Northeast Development Commission has pledged increased funding and support for the commission. This announcement was made during the committee's oversight visits to Borno State, where they assessed the progress of various NEDC projects, including road networks and the rehabilitation of a 1.5 billion naira Alau Dam project. News Central's Umar Kirawa completes the reports.
Zabarmari, Dusuman, Koshebe and Kaddamari are some of the rice-producing communities in the conflict-affected northeast Nigeria. Access roads to these communities are in deplorable conditions. With improved security in the areas, the Northeast Development Commission has since commenced construction of the roads.
We see our people dying, that they are suffering here, everybody knows. But now, after when you finish your rice, by 30 to 15 minutes, you are in Maiduguri to sell it, and you are very happy about it, and you come and smile face to your people. So, alhamdulillah, we appreciate for that.
You've done tremendously well in supporting our farmers, in supporting our women. You have done well. We really appreciate that, but we still need more.
As part of their oversight visit to Borno State, the House Committee on NEDC assessed the ongoing efforts to improve the region's road networks, as well as Alau Dam rehabilitation to boost irrigation and tackle flooding.
To carry this developmental strike where in the affected states is not easy. So we have to look around, use any possible means to attract funding in order to carry out more developmental efforts of the Northeast development.
The House Committee members touted several projects, including a newly constructed 40-bed capacity maternity ward at the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital and others being undertaken by the NEDC.
For today, we are donating the 500 water forms, 200 cartons of herbicide, and 100 grinding machines, and spaghetti making machine, another 100. Our aim is just beginning to have the roads. End of the day is to empower and open up the area.
The visit allowed the committee members to interact with locals in the communities and get first-hand insights into the challenges and needs of the region.
The road construction is still ongoing in Koshebe community of Mafa local government area of Borno State. And it is the expectation of the rural dwellers, particularly the farmers, that this road project will be completed in no distant time to allow them transport their produce to earn a means of livelihood that was hitherto destroyed due to insurgency. In Koshebe for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Now, the national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, has been suspended from the party in Ward 3 in Arewa Romi in Esan Northeast local government area of Edo State for alleged high-handedness and anti-party activities. A letter of suspension dated May 14, 2024, and another letter of ratification dated May 15, 2024, both of which were ratified at a meeting of the State Executive Committee on Friday night in Benin, stated that the suspension is with immediate effect. He advised Abure to stop holding out or parading himself as a member of the party. The letter of suspension was signed by the ward chairman, Thompson Ihigwese, and board secretary, Stanley Usiomo. Now, the Ministers of Health, Justice, Housing, Police Affairs and Power have taken turns to present their performance scorecard for the last 1 year. And this was as the ministerial scorecard series continued for the second day as part of celebrations marking the first-year anniversary of the current administration. Amadin Uyi reports.
It is day 2 of the ministerial scorecard series. The Minister of Health and the Minister of Justice first gave their reports for the last 1 year.
Now, over the period, in our federal hospitals, we were able to execute
201 infrastructure projects. I will not give you the specifics, but the list is available, and members of the media can find the details of those 201 completed infrastructural projects in federal facilities, and 179 discrete important equipment that were procured by the federal government across the 36 states of the Federation.
Within the same period of 1 year, the ministry has vetted and reviewed 485 contracts and PPP projects to ensure value for money, eliminate corruption, and ensure adequate protection of federal government investments. A total of 574 legal opinions were also proffered during the reporting period.
It was then followed by the Ministers of Housing, Police Affairs, and Power.
We have created over 202,000 jobs currently for skill and unskilled level, and this will be sustained for the next 6 to 12 months. Cities in Abuja, this contractor have been mobilized and commenced work to deliver the housing unit. We also signed an MOU with reputable developers to develop 100,000 housing units nationwide. This is a public-private partnership we have signed with them.
In the past 1 year, significant investments have been directed towards surveillance systems. The drones, communication technologies to bolster the force's capacity for real-time data collection and response. The integration of forensic technology has played a pivotal role in criminal investigations and perpetrator identification.
For the first time in the history of Nigeria, we have what is called guaranteed improved service level. It might be for Band A today, but no government has ever guaranteed 20 hours of supply, not to even 1% of consumers. But to 50% of consumers, we said, let us start from here. And we have guaranteed service level for Band A customers with introduction of cost-reflective tariffs to that band.
The scorecard series is expected to continue next week. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
And I'll tell you that May 25 is Africa Day, formerly African Freedom Day and African Liberation Day. It is the annual commemoration of the foundation of the Organization of African Unity on May 15, 1963. This day is celebrated in various countries on the African continent as well as around the world. This year's theme, Education Fit for the 21st Century, is hinged on the basis that education is the foundation for individual success and a prosperous Africa. Moving on now, the Nigerian Bar Association has called for harmonious relationships among stakeholders, especially security agencies in the country. They say this would uphold human rights and the rule of law. The NBA made this call at a town hall meeting by its Security Agency Relations Committee with the focus on reaching a consensus between both parties on how to coexist without friction. News Central's Adeshewo Dushoga reports.
In Nigeria, security agencies and lawyers have often recorded friction as it concerns upholding justice, protecting human rights, as well as ensuring proper interpretation and execution of the law. To address the difficulties encountered in performing their duties, the Nigerian Bar Association Security Services Relations Committee convened this discussion session with pertinent parties, including security agencies. Conversations here are centered on fostering a harmonious relationship between lawyers and security agencies in Nigeria. Some of the security personnel present here are the Nigerian Police Force, the Department of State Service, the Civil Defense, amongst others.
As lawyers, we understand the critical role that we play in the promotion of the rule of law and even in criminal justice administration. And it's important that lawyers operate in a safe environment, because if they don't, they are not going to be in a position to offer legal services to their clients. So because of the numerous conflicts, the current president of the NBA thought it wise to set up this committee. Because of the work that our committee has done and is doing, I can tell you that these conflicts, even though they have not been totally eliminated, they have been drastically reduced.
Issues bordering on harassment, intimidation, and unlawful detention of lawyers by security agencies were also brought to the fore. The lawyers here demand a review of some of the excesses of the security personnel, which includes publishing the identities of suspects who have not been proven guilty.
Enable us to ensure due diligence in terms of investigation, in terms of police and their relationship. We know there are a lot of frictions, there are a lot of violation of human rights, whereby pictures are being snapped by EFCC and display. We query that because it is like you are already preempting the person guilty before, as guilty as charged, when you flash them with them carrying the board and carrying their sentence or their offenses. So these are issues. Then the issue of lawyers carrying their phone being seized at the entry point of security agencies. This should not be, because we are all officers in the temple of justice. There is also on the part of lawyers to maintain decorum as regards their operational duties.
Following a long, drawn-out discussion in which both sides voiced their concerns, particularly those raised by lawyers regarding the mistreatment of its members by the security agencies, some of which were examined and some of which were refuted, it is determined that peaceful coexistence with citizens' rights must be promoted. In Lagos for News Central, Adeshewa Odushoga.
Former Chadian Prime Minister Success Masra has handed over power to Alamayi Helena at the Chadian Prime Minister's office. Success submitted his resignation on May 22, a little over 2 weeks after his defeat on the May 6 presidential election, a vote described by his party as a farce and by international NGOs as not credible. From other continents, Indians are voting amid a heatwave at a polling station in the capital, New Delhi, during the 6th phase of the country's 6-week marathon election that also saw top opposition leaders Rahul Gandhi and Arvind Kejriwal casting their votes. India's Weather Bureau this week issued a heatwave red alert for Delhi and surrounding states where tens of millions of people are casting their ballots.
कोई प्रूफ नहीं था ईडी के पास फिर भी लेके चले गए ये पावर दिखाई है बट ईडी का आज तक रोल नहीं था कोई भी बट अब इस समय देखेंगे यहाँ पर चुनाव के बाद जब सब हालात बदलेंगे तो सीएम साहब भारी रहेंगे
तो हम चाहते हैं कि ये लव पीस एंड हार्मनी ये होनी चाहिए और प्लीज़ डिस्क्रिमिनेट ना करें हमें रिलीजन के नाम पे हमें अलग ना करें रिलीजन के नाम पे हमारे सेंटिमेंट्स को ना एक्सप्लॉइट करें रिलीजन के नाम पे वी आर एक्सपीरियंसिंग सच थिंग्स अराउंड अस हाउ कैन वी से दैट इम्प्रूवमेंट इज बीइंग देयर इट कैन नॉट बी जो लोग अच्छे हैं हमारे साथ अब उनको लग रहा है मुसलमानों को ऐसा पोस्ट करके दिखाया जा रहा है ऐसा हाईलाइट करके दिखाया जा रहा है उनको लग रहा है दीज आर नॉट गुड पीपल सो दे आर अवॉइडिंग अस
मुझे ऐसा आदमी चाहिए जो मेरे भारत को सुरक्षित रख सके तो मोदी जी ने 10 साल में प्रूव किया है कि 10 साल में वो देश को जो रख सकते हैं वो सबकी जानकारी में है अगर मैं अपने निजी स्वार्थों को देखूंगा तो मैं फैसला नहीं कर पाऊंगा क्योंकि सबकी समस्याएं अलग-अलग होती हैं लेकिन हम चाहते बहुत कुछ है बहुत कुछ चाहते
Chilean authorities have announced the arrest of a firefighter and a forestry official accused of causing the fire that left 137 dead and destroyed thousands of homes in the tourist city of Vina del Mar in February. One of the men was employed by the National Forestry Corporation, which is responsible for fighting forest fires, Police Director Eduardo Serna said. The suspects have been remanded in custody, charged with arson resulting to death. The fire was the country's deadliest, devastated the Valparaiso region, which is more than 122 kilometers from Chile's capital, Santiago.
El levantamiento de evidencia en análisis, el cruce de información permitió ubicar, establecer patrones conductuales, ubicaciones geográficas, desplazamientos que y con la Dirección del Ministerio Público y la coordinación con el juzgado de garantía obtener hoy día la orden de detención del autor de los incendios ocurridos en el mes de febrero, resultado exitoso, que está en desarrollo, pero que en cierta medida no va a calmar la pena de las familias, pero tranquilidad a toda la sociedad de un país respecto de que las instituciones trabajaron, colocaron todo su empeño, su esmero.
Hoy día estamos cumpliendo con esa promesa. No les podemos devolver a sus familiares, pero podemos contribuir de alguna manera con justicia. Ese esfuerzo continuó, esa persona se encuentra privada de libertad y mañana esa persona va a pasar a una audiencia de formalización de la investigación. Y en ella se va a solicitar, se van a formular cargos, se van a calificar jurídicamente los hechos y casi con toda seguridad se va a pedir su prisión preventiva y confiamos que el tribunal va a acceder a todas las peticiones que los fiscales van a hacer en ella.
In sports, Kenyan athletes reigned supreme at the 10th Okpekpe 10-kilometer road race on Saturday in Edo State. Edward Zakayo Pingwa and Gladys Kwamboka emerged as champions in the men's and women's categories. 22-year-old Pingwa delivered a stunning performance to win the race in a time 29 minutes and 31 seconds. Compatriots Isaac Kipemboy, Alex Oloitip Koryo, and of course they came second and third respectively in elite men's race. Now in the women's category, 28-year-old Kwamboka showed her potential by claiming victory in a time of 33 minutes and 5 seconds. Regina Wambui and Sheila Cherotich placed second and third respectively. Aside the professional athletes, former presidential candidates Omoyele Sowore and former Edo State Governor Adams Oshomole took part in the race. The first, second and third placed athletes got $15,000, $8,000 and $5,000 respectively.
About my success is only training, discipline, and you have to put hard work in every corner and be disciplined.
Just the training at hard, nothing other. The challenge is just only hills. There is also a lot of hills.
Amazing one. It's very tasking, but I completed it, and that's the most important thing. As I said, there are two categories of people running a marathon. Anybody that finishes is a winner, but the people that take first are the prize winners. So I may not get a prize today, but I was able to do what I wanted to do, which is finish this in about 1 hour, 5 minutes. Okpekpe 10K
Now, the Athletics Federation of Nigeria has announced Benin City, Edo State as venue for the upcoming Olympics and African Senior Championship trials. According to the release by the Secretary General of the Federation, Rita Musindi, the trials are organized to select athletes who will represent Nigeria at the African Senior Athletics Championship in Douala, Cameroon from June 21 to 26, 2024. Olympic Games in Paris and World Under-20 Championship in Lima, Peru from August 27 to 31, 2024. The body further stated that an invitation has been sent out to the State Athletics Association, military paramilitary organization, all institutions and athletic clubs to participate in the trial slated to be held at Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium from June 16 to 18, 2024. The directive makes it compulsory for all athletes who have secured tickets to the 2024 Olympics to take part in the trials. Away from that, the Nigeria National League chairman, George Aluo, has expressed happiness for the positive performance of the clubs in the ongoing President's Federation Cup. Aluo, who commended the clubs for representing the NNL well in the President's Federation Cup, noted that such feats can be attributed to the enabling environment and atmosphere from the NNL board. Another climb has been recorded in the positive indices posted in the overall performance in the 2023-2024 season, as 7 NNL clubs have qualified for the round of 16 of the President's Federation Cup. Super 8 contenders, namely Ikorodu City, Sokoto United, Inter Lagos, El Kanemi Warriors with Wiki Tourists, EFCC and Kebbi United are making a strong statement in the oldest football competition in the land. Peyton Stearns had to survive a couple of marathon matches to make this week's Grand Prix Son Altice Royale do Princess Lamar Miriam final, but it was a story on Saturday where she eased to her first WTA singles title. The 22-year-old American Stearns, ranked world number 81, defeated 66th ranked Maya Sharif of Egypt 6-2, 6-1 in 1 hour and 12 minutes to capture a maiden trophy on tour. In the semi-finals, Stearns had to grind through a 3-hour and 15-minute clash with Victoria Tomova, eventually prevailing. Sharif, a logic WTA Tour titleist at 2022 Parma, had not lost more than 6 games in any of her 4 wins en route to a 3rd career title. But it was a reversal of fortunes with Stearns successfully shaking off any potential fatigue from the week. The American took control from the start, winning the opening set without facing a break point. Sharif garnered 4 break points at the second set, but Stearns stayed resolute and was never broken. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, we take a look at some of our top stories. Kano State Governor Kabir Yusuf orders arrest of the post-Emir of Kano, Aminu Bayero. Edo Labour Party suspends National Chairman Julius Abure. We also told you that political parties have wrapped up campaigns in South Africa ahead of elections. Don't forget to send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number and email on your screen. Do well to follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. And you can watch us live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Onobanjo.